How to motivate yourself when you are feeling down. Hi guys, so today I want to talk about how to motivate yourself when you are feeling down. Now, one of the things that I want to put across is that I'm not a doctor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, so I'm not going to be talking about depression, because depression is obviously a thing in itself. It's obviously very hard, very taxing mental illness, so I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm just going to be talking about if you're just feeling a little bit down in the dumps, a little bit unmotivated, and don't really know how to get yourself up from out of that slump to motivate yourself. If you are feeling depressed, then I would suggest that you go and talk to your general practitioner. Although I do think there could be a few things in here that could help you out. But when it comes to serious mental illness, you really need to talk to a doctor. So one of the things about motivating yourself, and when you're feeling down and it's just you're in that slump, you can't really do, it feels like you can't do anything because you just can't seem to get yourself out of that frame of mind. The kind of paradoxical thing that sort of happens is, though, if you do actually do something and start doing the thing that is making you feel down, that you can't motivate yourself for, it'll make you feel better if you do it. So if you're feeling down about whatever and you need to do a bunch of stuff, if you start doing your bunch of stuff, you will feel better. The problem is, though, is how, sometimes we can be feeling so down that we can't even motivate ourselves enough to even start tackling something. But I can guarantee, and I can really, really guarantee, if you start doing it, you will feel a little bit better. Something that I said in one of my most recent videos, which I think was on Friday, was that just try and do it, whatever it is, for 15 minutes. And there's actually two reasons why I say just do it for 15 minutes. First of all, if you just do something for 15 minutes, so let's take the example of a student. A student needs to write a paper. If they just time themselves, they put a little timer on, or they just listen to 15 minutes of music, and when the music ends, that's when they'll stop. If they just do it for 15 minutes, just start writing their essay, dissertation for 15 minutes, the likelihood of you carrying on after the 15 minutes is much more likely. Now, that's not a guarantee, but it is much more likely. So that's one of the great things about just committing yourself to doing something for 15 minutes. The second reason why doing it for just 15 minutes is good is simply because perhaps just 15 minutes is all that you can really manage. So let's take the example of someone that wants to lose weight, but they can't motivate themselves to exercise. You will often see, on the 1st of January, everyone's got their New Year's resolutions, new year, new me kind of thing. And then they commit themselves to this strenuous workout plan. That's okay, I'm going to do an hour of weightlifting, then I'm going to follow that by an hour of cardio, and I'm going to do it every single day. The likelihood of you following through and doing that consistently is next to zero, because it takes so much motivation and so much mental willpower to be able to do that, and discipline. However, if someone just says, okay, for this year, I'm just going to exercise every day for 15 minutes. That's much more, it's just much more easier. And it's easier for you to discipline yourself to do just 15 minutes. Because when you're trying to get into the habit of doing something, so the habit of exercising, it's much more important that you make a plan that you can follow through with, so you can start to add that consistency. Because consistency and doing things and getting into the habit of doing something is much more important than the actually doing it. And the reason why this is because once you've got yourself in the habit of doing something consistently, even if it's just small, it's more likely that you're going to follow through, and you're still going to follow through in the future. So this is why you often see people who have already failed their New Year's resolutions by the middle of February. And sometimes even before that, perhaps even the middle of January, is because they've put too much on themselves. But if they just did a little bit and got into the habit of actually doing it, because it's so much easier to make a habit if the habit is small, then over time they can start, once the habit's been integrated, so let's say they've exercised for 15 minutes every day for 3 months, it's then much more likely that they could handle adding another 10 minutes or another 20 minutes because they've already got themselves into the habit. Which is why it's so important that you start small, especially if it's something like a really big task, like writing a book or losing weight if you're really overweight, or trying to gain muscle, or if you're trying to write your dissertation, or if you're trying to get A's in all your studies. If you start small and just start getting yourself into the habit of doing something every single day, or at least every Monday to Friday, so you can have the weekends off, it's going to be so much more easier for you to follow through. So if you're feeling down and the thing that you are trying to do, trying to motivate yourself, or just feels like some really like high mountain, start with baby steps. Just start being consistent. And the best way you can start being consistent and to get something into a habit is by starting small, doing it in small, manageable chunks every day. Not going for like, okay, I'm going to study for 3 hours flat. It's not going to work out. You can't do that consistently, but you can do 15 minutes consistently. So what if you're feeling so down you can't even manage that? Well, what I would recommend that you do is, firstly, have a shower. Wash yourself. Groom yourself, brush your hair. Get into some proper clothing. Start with that. Start doing that. Because I know there's some people out there that are feeling so low, feeling so down about themselves, that they can't even get themselves to take a shower or get out of their pajamas. Sometimes people are just that disgusted with themselves that they can't even do like regular hygiene kind of normal things. Don't even brush their teeth, or don't do it very often, or they don't make themselves a nice nutritious meal. They just stick to like a bowl of cereal or a tin of beans or whatever it is. Some people feel that low about themselves that they can't even look after themselves, and that is so horrible that people feel that bad about themselves. And I know this because I used to be like this as well. When I was at uni, when I was doing my A-levels, before I met my fiance, I didn't really look after myself that well. I didn't make myself meals. I didn't have a shower every single day. I didn't always brush my hair, because I felt that down in the dumps. Because if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll see that there's one about me coming off a drug recently, which was an antidepressant. And I came off of this drug because I got to a point where I was okay. And I probably could have been off the drug like for a couple of years. But if you would like to go and see that story, you can. It's in one of the videos. I'll link it up here as well if you want to go and see that. I was in a very, very dark place. And because one of the signs of being like having a mental illness is actually not really taking care of yourself, as if you're actually someone that deserves to be taken care of. It's kind of crazy to me how people can take more care of their pets and their children than they can themselves. And it's sad to see people go down that spiral, because it's not a nice place to be. And it's just so sad that people just think so little of themselves that they can't even do the minimal things for themselves. And I know it. I've been there. It's horrible. It's dark. But start by taking care of yourself. So get dressed, have a shower, make yourself something nice to eat, and get into the habit of trying to do that every day, because you need to do that every day. That's not something you can only do for 15 minutes a day, like exercising or writing your dissertation or whatever it is. Start by just doing those minimal, small things that will make you feel a little bit better of yourself. Start taking care of yourself. And after that, if you still can't get yourself in a good mood and you can't motivate yourself to tackle the day or do the thing that you know in your heart of hearts you need to do, just do a bit of tidying. Tidy your home, your room, just tidy your bed, just tidy your desk, whatever it is. Just do a little bit of tidying and organize things a little bit. I know I work so much better if my desk is much more tidy and organized. I feel so much more better. I feel better if the floors have been hoovered. I feel better if my bed has been made. I feel so much more organized and in control. And I used to think that, a messy mind equaled like a genius, because they say like people who are slobs are geniuses. I don't actually really believe that now. I used to believe it. That's why I never used to tidy anything when I used to live with my parents. As you get older and you get better mental health and better self-esteem and more confidence, and you start to learn about how to take care of yourself and how to actually operate yourself in the world, you start doing these things because you realize how important it is for your mental health. If things are cluttered, if things are messy, it makes you feel anxious and makes you feel not worthy. Again, it all stems back to not feeling good about yourself and feeling down. But if you tidy up and you dress and you take care of yourself, that will help you tackle the day a lot better. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an action exercise for today. And today I just want you to get dressed and do whatever it is you need to do for 15 minutes. Just do it for 15 minutes and you'll feel better. Anyway, I hope this has helped you. If you would like to get in touch with me personally, and if you would like me to be your coach or mentor, then you can head over to www.christineloveridge.com/shop and you can choose whatever package suits you. And I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.